What's up guys, Mike here with Cards Sports Cards. I want to do a video on how to ship cards internationally from the US to other countries when you make a sale on eBay. Can you ship cards in a plain white envelope? Should you use the eBay International Shipping Program? Are you going to end up on any of these countries' wanted lists if you ship without going through the USPS and filling out the customs form? Let's tackle these questions in this video. Before we do, if you want to unlock the secrets of selling and investing in low-end sports cards on eBay, this channel is your go-to source for expert tips, honest insights, and strategies to help boost your eBay sales. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button for me if you want to stay ahead in the card selling game, maximize your profits, and take your eBay card selling business to the next level. You can also check out my other channel at Puck Mike, where I open and talk about hockey cards. Now, before we get into the details on this topic, I am not a lawyer by any stretch, nor am I telling you by any of the content in this video that you should or shouldn't do any of these options. At the end of the day, there's a ton of questions and a lot of gray areas that come up when shipping sports cards internationally. So hopefully this video will at least give you some insight into those areas so that you can make decisions for yourself. So let's look at some of the different options when it comes to shipping cards outside the US to another country. The easiest option, if you're the seller, is to utilize the eBay International Shipping Program. This program allows you to ship to over 200 countries, and all you have to do is ship the item to one of the eBay hubs, which are all located within the US. Everything else, actually shipping the card to the buyer's country, customs, returns, it's all handled by eBay through this program. There are massive benefits to using this program as a seller because you don't have to deal with any of the potential headaches that might arise, and you're protected from things like negative or neutral feedback if any of the items get damaged during the shipping process. And if your item is lost during the process, eBay will refund the buyer, but you as the seller get to keep the money from the sale, which is really awesome. You can opt out of the program and opt back in at any time. So from the seller's point of view, you look at this program and think, that's pretty awesome. My business can be global, I can make more sales, and I don't have to worry about anything but shipping my card somewhere in the US the same way I do my domestic orders. The biggest drawback, as you can imagine, by using this method is the insane cost associated with it for the person buying your card. Since eBay is following all the rules, so to speak, when they ship items through this program, they have to abide by the USPS shipping rules for international orders. And those are usually at least $13 to $14. Some I've seen as high as $20, depending on where you're shipping to. Now, if you're sending a higher mid or high-end card, the buyer might not care about this, especially if they have the money to spend on that card, then likely they're committed to the purchase enough to pay the higher shipping fee because they want the card. But for low-end cards, it essentially kind of kills it for a lot of sellers because no buyer in their right mind is going to pay $14+ just to have a $1 or $2 card shipped to them. Likely if the card is that cheap, then it's not in short supply, and likely if it's not in short supply, they're probably able to find it cheaper in their home country if that's the case. So it is a great program, it just isn't realistic or helpful if you're trying to generate more sales for low-end cards across the border. At least not for single low-end cards, that is. Maybe someone buys 20 or 30 cards in bulk and wants to pay the shipping, which could definitely happen, but for low-end singles, it's just not worth it. I'm not 100% sure why eBay implemented this program. I mean, let's be real. Every decision eBay makes is so that they can make more money. Sure, generating more sales means more money for the seller, but who takes a cut of that money? But outside of eBay just wanting to generate more revenue, I mean, did there turn out to be legal ramifications of such a large online retailer having members on their platform ship internationally without going through the customs process? Was it too costly or confusing for eBay to service the likely loads of errors that were happening, like packages damaged or lost? It's hard to say for sure. All I know is for low-end cards, it's not that great because the cost is too high. So if you don't use the eBay International Shipping Program, what other options do you have when it comes to shipping cards outside the US? Of course, you can always just buy your own shipping label on eBay, fill out the customs form, take it to the USPS, and let it be on its way. You would essentially follow the same process that you do in eBay when you buy the eBay standard envelope domestically, except instead of that nice cheap price, you're gonna buy a much more expensive label and fill out some additional information for customs. Honestly though, if you're gonna do this, you should probably just use the eBay International Program. If you don't, you're just gonna have to charge the buyer the very high shipping price on your own instead of eBay, because in this case, you're the one footing the bill for the high cost shipping label. So you're kind of back to square one with the buyer paying a lot for shipping, but you're opting out of the great protections that the program has to offer. So you might as well use the program if this is the alternative route you're thinking of. The only argument I can see for not using the program and using this method instead is that I don't believe the program combines shipping. Sure, if you're in another country and you buy 3 or 4 cards, they're gonna combine it in the sense that they're gonna charge you one payment, and as the seller, you're gonna ship those cards in one order. But I did a couple tests with a second eBay account that I have, and I put in an international address and added some items to my cart from a seller I know is using this program, and it charged me an additional $2 or $3 just to add another card. So I think initially the price was like $15 shipping, I added another card, and then it was like $18 $15. So I know if you go to the frequently asked questions about the eBay international shipping program, I believe they say they combine shipping, but I'm not 100% sure what that means. What you could do theoretically, and what I think I might end up doing, is tweaking my business policy to charge a flat rate to certain countries, like Canada for example, that covers the cost of one label, and then any additional card after that one cost is free. That way it could attract a lot of buyers internationally who might want to buy 20, 30, even 50 cards, but they only have to pay for the shipping label one time, and you can ship all those cards in the same package. So there could be some benefits to doing this way, even though you wouldn't have the protections of the eBay International Standard Shipping Program. You would just of course have to set up all that information in your shipping policies and business policies within eBay, which would take a lot of extra time. Now, I have read a ton of forums on this topic preparing for this video. There are some other shipping options out there, I think, where you can buy international labels. I honestly can't remember what any of them are called, but I can tell you every single one of them still had a higher than preferred shipping cost for the buyer. Because again, if you go through the USPS and do it the right way, you're gonna have to fill out the customs form and you're gonna pay a higher charge. So what do you do if you don't want to use any of these programs? The million-dollar question. Can you ship a sports card in a plain white envelope to an international country? Will it get there? And how do you do it? The answer from a logistical standpoint is yes. You can. Card in the envelope and a global forever stamp lets you mail USPS international letter mail to anywhere in the world for a current price of $1.55 per stamp at the time of recording this video. So yes, you can do it, and the item will arrive in most cases, although without tracking, but what are the risks? Just because you can do it, should you? And this is where things get a little bit gray. And not gray in the sense of what you can and can't do based on regulation, because in a lot of cases, countries classify goods, which is essentially what a sports card purchased from an online marketplace such as eBay is, as something not allowed in international letter mail. But gray in the sense of what you can get away with, so to speak. If you look at Canada, for example, you can find all the shipping requirements and regulations for the Canada Post on their website. And if you look at letter mail, you can send all kinds of things in an envelope. Letters, cards, including postcards, CDs, DVDs, as long as they meet the size and weight requirements, much like a standard white letter envelope here in the US. But letter mail in Canada is referring to mail sent from one Canadian address to another Canadian address. When it's shipped internationally from Canada to another country, I believe it's referred to as letter post. Honestly, all of this is massively confusing, and you'd have to have a full legal or research team reviewing the requirements of each country you wanted to ship to ensure you're doing it the right way. And not a single one of us has time to do that, or spend hours and hours on international post office sites or forums like I did in preparation for this video. So the short answer is yes, you can ship cards internationally from the US to another country in a plain white envelope using a global forever stamp. But whether it's allowed according to that country's postal and customs regulations is a completely different story and carries loads of risks you need to consider, even if the card would make it to its destination in a plain white envelope. You have to realize that for a lot of countries, mail coming in from another country is essentially an imported item. And you have agencies like the CBSA, which is the Canada Border Services Agency in Canada, for example, who screens all goods coming into the country. Now, they're probably not opening every single package, but even if the package gets by in a plain white envelope, is it following all regulations based on customs and international shipping in that case? No, it's not. So you have to decide what methods you want to use with this information. While I know that people have shipped cards internationally this way before successfully, I can also promise you that there probably has been cases of an international agency seizing an item that was a sports card. Maybe the package was too rigid. Maybe the return address raised some suspicions, like Sports Cards USA. If that happens, you'd likely receive some type of notice via mail to the return address on the envelope, stating what happened, why the package was seized, and how to get it back if you wanted to. I also read that there can be fines in some cases, especially for repeated offenses after a notice has been given. So that's kind of the different options that you have. There's not many. Ultimately, you have to decide what you want to do when it comes to shipping cards internationally. It can be a very scary thing. I get it. You want to do the right thing, but you also want to make more sales. So you have to look at all the options and do what you're comfortable with. Just make sure you always do your research, go directly to the source, research the postal site of the country you're wanting to ship to. You might see a lot of comments on forums and even YouTube of people saying, "Oh, there's a big crackdown in that country. They're gonna confiscate all your mail and send you a fine." Again, it could happen. Likely if you've only shipped a few cards in a plain white envelope using the global forever stamp, you're not gonna go to jail. But if you're more serious about continuing to grow your business and are making more and more sales, and if you ask me on camera which option to use, I would tell you to use the eBay International Standard Program or your own version of it, buying postage through the USPS and filling out the customs form. Although the cost is higher for both of these options, shipping items across the border is not cheap, and using one of these two options could be the best option if you want to eliminate any fears. One other thing I forgot to mention is that you can use the eBay International Standard Shipping Program while still specifying your own shipping preferences for certain countries. In other words, if you went into your business policies in eBay and you were already opted into the International Shipping Program through eBay, you could add a new shipping option and select that country and what shipping service you wanted to offer and the price you wanted to charge and how much each additional card would be to that country under that policy. Making any specifications for a country you want to ship to and the service you want to offer to that country in the business policies section within eBay will override the eBay International Standard Program to that country. So when someone in that country buys one of your items, your shipping option, not eBay, will be shown to the buyer at checkout. All the other countries that eBay includes under the International Standard Shipping Program will still show prices based on that program. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's a great topic and I've been wanting to do this video for a while. I just wanted to find the right way to talk about it so that I could make sure I gave you all the information to go do even more of your own research and find what works best for your business. As always, if you want to unlock the secrets of selling and investing in low-end sports cards on eBay, this channel is your go-to source for expert tips, honest insights, and strategies to help boost your eBay sales. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me if you want to stay ahead in the card selling game, maximize your profits, and take your eBay card selling business to the next level. You can also check out my other channel at Puck Mike, where I open and talk about hockey cards. And while we have well surpassed 1,000 subscribers, we are also very close to hitting 3,000 watch time hours at the time of recording this video, where I hope to start offering some type of membership tiers on this channel to bring you even more content and resources to help support growing your sports card business. Thank you guys so much for the support. I'll see you in the next video.